Visrja sasharam chapam shoka samvigna manasa. So Sanjaya is speaking to Dhṛtarāṣṭra. This is the condition of Arjuna. After speaking the many reasons, after giving lot of arguments to Krishna, hey Krishna, hey Janardhan, hey Mukunda, hey Govinda, I will not fight. He gave 4 reasons up to now. And after giving lot of reasons, arguments, why he will not fight, he just sat down. Rato pasta upavishat. He just sat down on the ratha. Actually, Kshatriyas are not supposed to sit. They are always standing position. They are always ready to fight. They only sit on the asthana, in their kingdom. But on the battlefield, they should not sit. If they're sitting means they are lazy. Unfortunately, nowadays, when the battles happens, when the war happens, the leaders of the community, leaders of the society, community heads, or state government officials, they sit in their bulletproof offices and they send their soldiers on the ground. Okay, you go and kill them or get killed. But in those times, even the kings, Kshatriya spirited kings, they were there on the ground. They were there on the ground. It is not that they were protected by bulletproof cars or bulletproof offices, no. So they were also there on the ground. So Kshatriya is supposed to be there among the soldiers, on the battlefield, ground. Not just among them, but ahead, standing in front of all the soldiers. That is a leader. But here, Arjuna's condition is very pitiable. Sanjaya is speaking, Rato pasta upavishat. He just sat down on the ratha. Up to now he was standing. Now he sat down. When the chariot also moves, when the chariot moves, especially in the battlefield, they don't sit. They stand only. They won't sit. Because by standing, they can show to all the soldiers, I am there here. If the king only sits down, then soldiers, they cannot, he's not visible. So he never sits. But now, at this junction of the time, he sat, giving lot of arguments. We will discuss in the second chapter the 5th reason why he sat down, because of not able to decide. Even though he gave a lot of arguments, but he's not able to decide which argument is more important. Is my arguments are proper or not? He's a little confused. He's confused. He's not able to decide. Indecision is the 5th cause, 5th reason. Okay, he sat down. Okay, he sat down, it's okay. But he gave up the bow and arrow also. Visrja sasharam chapam. He just gave up he just kept aside bow and arrow. Kshatriyas are always supposed to have some weapons with them. You see, Shivaji Maharaj was called to meet the Mughal emperor. Everybody thought he doesn't have any weapon. But Shivaji Maharaj had a weapon. Very special weapon, Very special weapon he had. So, Kshatriyas are always supposed to carry a weapon. Now, at this point of time, Arjuna gave up the weapons, kept aside bow and arrow. One time, in Ramayana, this description comes. Lord Rama is always carrying a bow and arrow. He's always carrying a bow and arrow. You see, any picture you see of Lord Ramachandra, he's always carrying a bow. He never kept his bow and arrow aside. Even Lakshmana. Because that is a Kshatriya spirit. They are always ready to protect their subordinates. But here, the leader himself, Arjuna himself, sat down first of all, and he kept his weapons also aside. Visrjya sa sharam chapam. Not only that, the third point, he sat down and he kept his weapons aside. Shoka samvigna manasa. He is crying, lamenting within the mind. Yes. For Arjuna, it is not befitting. For Arjuna, he is not supposed to cry. They are supposed to fight. They are supposed to be a chivalrous, ferocious. But Arjuna, he himself is crying. So Prabhupada writes in the purport. So while observing the situation of his enemy, Arjuna stood up on the chariot, but he was so afflicted with the lamentation that he sat down. Why he did the first two things? Because of third thing. Here three descriptions are there of Arjuna. One is he sat down. Second, he kept his bow and arrow aside. Third one is shoka samvigna manasa. Prabhupada writes, because he was lamenting, because he has a false compassion towards his relatives, and because he's crying in the mind, lamenting, that's why he sat down. That's why he sat down. Otherwise, it is not that he got tired standing and he sat down. No. So that is a mental weakness. He is completely controlled by the mind now. Overwhelmed by the compassion. Uncontrolled mind. And he sat down, kept his bow and arrow aside. Yes, because of his false compassion to his relatives, friends, bandhu, bandhavas, he felt, now I cannot do anything. They are my own relatives. I don't want to fight with them. If you see carefully, here is the important lesson. We again and again we discussed this. Mental weakness, mental problem is more dangerous than physical problem. So one should have a mentally strong willpower. If we don't have mental strength, then no matter how much body fitness we have, six packs we have, we will become weak and weak. So mental strength is very much important. Here in this case of Arjuna, he is overwhelmed by the compassion and is not able to, even though he is skillful, talented, but he just sat down. You know, sometimes in the WW matches, WWW, yes, wrestling matches, if you see a very lean and thin person is fighting against very thick and heavy built body person. So because that short boy, he is very, very intelligent, he is very, very talented, and he has a mental strength. He can defeat even the heaviest person in the wrestling match. Somebody may be looking very, very thin. Yes, very, very thin, patla. But still, if he has a mental power, mental strength, he can defeat even heavy built body. But Arjuna is quite competent, but he is mentally weak, mentally affected. If you see, if you want to attack someone, if you attack him mentally, he will be defeated. So mental attacks are very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. They affect us so much. Physical wound, it can be cured. Chot lag gaya, it can be cured after a few days. But a mental hurt, when we get hurt in subtly, affected subtly, it takes long time to get healed. Sometimes it never gets healed. Now Arjuna got affected by his false compassion, soft-heartedness towards his relatives. Another reason, he says, now this is the end of the first chapter. Arjuna, because of his soft-heartedness, he sat down. That is one reason. False compassion, he sat down. Another reason is, from second chapter onwards, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is going to speak Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Now, Arjuna is becoming eligible to receive the transcendental knowledge of Bhagavad Gita from Krishna. So because of, this is another shift, completely another understanding. Hear carefully. Because Arjuna is a devotee of Krishna, devotees of Krishna, they have a komala hrudaya, soft-hearted. That's why he is ready to get killed by the Kauravas, but he doesn't want to fight them. In the previous shloka we discussed. He is ready to get killed by their hands, but he doesn't want to fight with them back because of devotional heart, soft heart towards Krishna. This made him qualified to hear Bhagavad Gita. This made him qualified to receive the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita ahead in the second chapter. This is a completely different understanding of Arjuna's situation. See, when somebody is in lamentation, frustrated, confused, that time he needs the most important instructions of the life. He comes to guide, he comes to counselor, he comes to doctor. He inquires, these are the problem I have, what should I do? Somebody has all the facilities, somebody full confidence on his strength, he doesn't come to Guru. He doesn't come to Krishna consciousness. That's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 4 types of people who comes to him: Artho, Artharthi, Jigyasu, Gnani cha Bharatarshava. The first category of people are who are Artho, who are materially affected, very, very much frustrated, confused. Such type of people, they come to temples. Such kind of people, they come to God, Bhagavad Gita. So in our life also, we must have come to Krishna consciousness because we got affected materially. We got completely frustrated, confused. Somehow or other we have come to Krishna consciousness. But let's rise above these emotions. But let's rise above this platform. By taking the spiritual knowledge, transcendental knowledge, we should rise above these subtle emotions. So now Arjuna is becoming qualified to receive the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, knowledge of self. After a lot of confusion, frustration, distractions, now he sat down. Now second chapter begins. The main core chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna. Anybody has any questions, comments, devotees? What we discussed?